Aloha from the Big Island of Hawaii. I'm Vicki Francois, your coach today. Now today we're going to be talking about attitude and how it affects our health. Now let me ask you something. Do you look forward to your future? Do you feel younger than you really are? And do you have a good sense of purpose in your life? Well, if so, do you know that you've already done something to reduce your risk of dangerous diseases, degenerative diseases? You may even be adding years to your life. Let's look at some ways that your attitude affects your health. You're going to learn to look forward to your days and to look and feel younger than you really are and to have a true sense of purpose in your life. Now, it's been a long popular notion that disease is something that happens to us, that it's outside of our control. Disease is an outsider that invades us, invades our bodies, and it renders us helpless. Well, excellent health, the opposite of disease, is viewed as a blessing toward only a few select people. It's precisely that viewpoint that sometimes keeps us from experiencing the optimal level of health that we have with Christ. Now, you might wonder, does my outlook on my health really matter? Well, if you're curious about your health and your future, there's a lot of things you can do. You can put yourself through a battery of tests, medical tests, and fill out stacks of questionnaires, and you can see every specialist alive on the planet. But for a simple and surprisingly reliable prediction of how you really are, just ask yourself the simple question, how healthy do you feel? Well, when it comes to your health, your opinion definitely matters. Now, granted, there are diseases that can adversely affect our health, and no one can argue that fact. However, there are things that you can do to achieve better health. Now, I've found that one of the keys to a positive mental attitude, and this can be a learned behavior. Duke University found that they asked almost 3,000 heart patients to classify their health as poor, fair, good, or very good. Now, as reported in the Journal of Medical Care, those who said very good were about 70% less likely to die within 3 years than those who answered good. And they had 3 times the survival rate of those who claimed poor health. Now, at first, results like these might not seem surprising. After all, people who said they were in poor health probably had good reason to. But here's the astounding thing. In this study, and a lot of others like it, researchers did their best to adjust for age, smoking, activity levels, weight, blood pressure, cholesterol, current diseases, and practically everything else that you can think of that might affect a person's survival rate. But even with all of these factors removed from the equation, a person's opinion of his or her health still stands out as a likely key to long life. Now, take a room full of 60-year-olds with the same lifestyle, identical results from their last physicals, and that single question can tell you which ones are most likely to see age 70. Another dramatic example of the power of perception was found in a study that was done in more than 5,000 people over the age of 65, and the researchers at Johns Hopkins University found that a poor image of one's health, regardless of the other risk factors, roughly doubled the risk of death within 5 years. In fact, a pessimistic outlook on life proved to be deadlier than congestive heart failure or smoking 50 packs or more of cigarettes a year. Now you might wonder, why is attitude so important? Well, these studies seems to suggest that attitude alone can tip the balance between life and death just by the way you think. So there are two ways that your attitude can speed up your healing process. One involves direct action on your part. You know, when your doctor gives you specific recommendations and a specific treatment plan and a schedule, this has been based upon their experience with patients with similar problems. And they've found that patients who adhere to the treatment schedule feel better faster. Their bodies heal faster, and the underlying causes of the problems is corrected sooner. But skipping appointments and delaying your medications and stuff, this delays and prolongs the healing process. And the second way that you can affect your healing is to set up a positive conditioning for change. Believe that you will feel better. And send this message to your body. Like this, you have to picture yourself doing things that you love pain-free. And spend time in meditation and prayer, letting go of the negative thoughts about your body. Put your positive attitude, your things on the things that are positive in your life, and your attitude will send healing to the affected areas and help you heal a lot faster. There's something to be said about a sunny outlook. You know, depression and anxiety can fuel a lot of illnesses in a person, including heart disease, hypertension, asthma, or possibly even cancer and diabetes. Gunnar Engström, an MD, a professor at Lund University in Sweden, said that a positive attitude about health can ward off mental distress and may help provide important protection against these diseases. Now, one thing is for certain. You don't have to be particularly healthy to see the bright side of things. There was an interview with a partially paralyzed stroke victim in a wheelchair who claimed to be in excellent health. He stated that his only complaint was that he had recently strained his shoulder in a karate class. He never even mentioned that he was in a wheelchair. Now, not everyone can match this kind of indestructible optimism, but we can all take some control over our attitudes, and that can help us to live a happier life. People should occasionally turn their attention away from the risks to their health and focus on the resources that they have already to stay healthy. What you think does make a difference. A positive attitude cannot guarantee a perfect health, but it can make a noticeable difference. If you're a half glass empty view of life for decades, assuming a new, more positive outlook is going to be a little more challenging. However, the following suggestions might help you. The first one, don't dwell on your age. It's just a number. A growing body of research indicates that people who say they feel younger than their calendar years tend to live longer. A British study of 6,500 people with an average age of 65 found that those who say that they felt older than their age had 41% greater risk of dying in the next 8 years compared to the people who felt younger than their actual age. Now, when you do think about aging, value the positive aspects of that. Things like the wisdom you've gained, your experience, your emotional maturity, and all of that may add years to your life. In 2000, a team of researchers analyzed data from Ohio Longevity Study of aging retirement, and they found that men and women who expressed positive views of aging 23 years earlier had lived an average of 7.5 years longer than those with negative attitudes. Now, the second thing is to focus on what is most important. Now, quite a bit of research has determined that this focus improves with age. Dr. Kabansky says, with experience, we become much better able to winnow out the issues that demand our attention from those that may just be minor annoyances. So the next time you feel fret over a perceived slight or a delayed flight, it may help to just view the situation through a perspective of your entire life's experiences, not that one point. Now, practice mindfulness. Increasing evidence indicates that regular practicing mindfulness, or focusing on the moment and accepting your thoughts and feelings non-judgmentally, has a host of psychological benefits, from quieting anxiety to aiding in weight loss. In the short term, it can help you keep you from returning to the negative thoughts. The fourth point is keep a sense of purpose about you. You may feel that you're at the top of your game just as you're forced to retire. Well, that doesn't mean you have to accept that the notion that you aren't capable, just as capable as you once were. Instead, you can view this important life change as an opportunity to start something new. A new business, a new sport, a new language, a new instrument, or just plunge into doing something voluntary that you love. But doing so could open up new horizons for you. Now, recent studies show that severe, prolonged stress and chronic negative thinking can compromise your immune system. By the same token, though, studies have also revealed that individuals with a positive attitude toward life tend to become sick less often than those that have negative attitudes. Now, a positive attitude isn't just critical to your mood, though. It's essential to your overall health. Positive thoughts act like good food. They're nutritious for your mind. What we think, whether positive or negative, has a direct effect on our actions. Now, when you think positively about something, you're more eager to do it or face it with self-confidence. The opposite's true as well, though. If you have a bad attitude or you think you've got negative feelings about something, that's going to leave you stressed and anxious. Now, there's a little something to the saying, attitude is everything. It all goes back to the strong two-way connection between mind and body. And your thoughts are part of that connection. Now, the role of your thoughts is so strong that one study found that a positive attitude and overall demeanor helped lower the risk of dying from heart disease and stroke. Now, by changing the internal state of mind, people can change the outer aspects of their life. That was said by William James. So, while you're physically healthy, it's also important to work out your mind to positive thinking. I'm not recommending that you ignore negative thoughts and commit to faking a happier demeanor. No, it's more about managing your outlook in the positive or negative situations that you find yourself in. Having a positive outlook on a negative situation means that you're not willing to give up, or that you understand it's out of your control and you can let the stress go. Switching to this state of mind may sound hard. Luckily, we can train ourselves to have a positive attitude regardless of the situations by focusing on the 3 B's: your body, your brain, and your breath. Now, your state of mind affects your body and your breathing, but breathing changes your mind and your body as well. Now, slightly different breathing patterns can create different states of mind from what you're used to. That's why it's so important to learn how to use your breath as a tool to manage the two-way connection between the brain and the body. Let's take a deeper look. Your thoughts and your health. Your internal dialogue affects so much more than your mood. While someone with a cantankerous demeanor isn't usually the top choice for your company, negative attitudes influence more than just your social interactions. Your internal dialogue also affects how well you can work. A confused state of mind does not concentrate as clear. Focused actions are harder to do. So, on the other hand, those with positive attitudes make better company, and positive people can easily achieve calmer, clearer state of mind to achieve what they're working on. Now, the internal dialogue can have a big impact on your physical health too. When you're anxious and negative thoughts run through your mind, your body tenses up. You can feel it everywhere, and it activates the fight or flight response, getting ready to fend off the thing that's causing those very negative thoughts. So even if it's a deadline and it's not a dead predator, when you learn to turn negative thoughts into positive ones, you'll be less tense, and other indication of how strong the connection between mind and body truly is. Have you ever heard of neuropeptides? Well, if you're new to the world of neuropeptides, fear not. They're an important part of our brain activity. These signaling protein-like molecules help neurons communicate with each other while sending signals to your brain. Sounds complicated, and it is, but these little guys do so much and are so important that they even have the entire scientific journals dedicated on them. So we won't dive too deep and overwhelm us too much with those details, but what's important is to know for our purposes is that your neuropeptides are the means by which your thoughts, desires, and emotions gets transmitted to your nervous system. Now, the neuropeptides are messengers. The receptors in your nervous system and the immune systems then receive these messages. Feelings of stress, nervousness, anxiety, sadness can cause your body to release hormones that, over time, can wreak havoc on your immune system, causing it to break down. And they have a huge impact on a lot of other things that impact the various states of our mind. Now, excessive negative emotions, just like calories, build up over time, and you may be able to burn some of them off. But after a while, they build up to a point where you're feeling sluggish, low energy, disconnected and confused, in a confused state. Conversely, training your mind to think positive thoughts, stay clear, focused on the good in situations, and react calmly can result in improved health and overall well-being. Now, we're going to talk about stress and positive thinking. We talked briefly about stress above, but let's take a little bit deeper look. In the USA alone, 40% of Americans report moderate to high stress. What happens to your body when you become stressed out? Well, to protect from potential threats, think like wild animals chasing you through the night. Your body becomes equipped with stress response that gives you a boost of energy to handle the urgent situations. This boost of energy, however, is accompanied by an elevation in your heart rate, raised blood pressure, and a release of hormones to top it off. One of these hormones, the cortisol, also alters the immune system response, while it suppresses your digestive and reproductive systems. So, it's beneficial in a temporary flight or flight scenario, chronic releases of these hormones, especially cortisol, can be dangerous. Prolonged increased stress levels is linked to arrhythmias, anxiety, digestive problems, weight gain, and infamous popped blood vessels, and more. This is enough to put anyone in a stressed out and confused state. But with excessive stress, performance falls off. We do things less well. Just talking about all of these things can be stressful. Now it's time to take some deep breaths. You have the power to control your responses, your stress levels, your internal dialogue, and your attitude. They are all intertwined, and controlling them leads to a more stress-free state of well-being. So it's a process though. It doesn't just happen. So don't just dive in and become frustrated because it might be a little tougher to incorporate these new learnings. Now, learning to reframe negative experiences with a positive attitude takes time, especially if you're used to being a negative thinker. So you can't roll out of bed one day and run a marathon without having trained for it. So build endurance and gain what you need, the strength you need. You have to do that just like they do for endurance. So we're training our brain on how to respond and with positive thoughts. And over time, you'll have enough steam to win that race. So, how do we train our brain to have a positive attitude? The first thing you have to do is shift your perspective. Now, the way we interpret situations is critical to our healthy state of mind. Now, stress it comes at us from every direction we can even think about. And when we're confronted with a different situation like that, try shifting your perspective to a positive one. Let's try this out. Okay, think of this scenario. You've been working for weeks on a presentation. You're just about ready to launch it, and you find out that they're not going to be using it in the upcoming launch after all. All those hours, all that time wasted, right? Well, try shifting this situation with an optimistic view. Find gratitude in the experience that you gained, and be proud of the work ethic and the perseverance to get the job done. Shift your perspective to being proud of the job that you completed, even if it wasn't presented. You finished. And now you can shift it to a new state of appreciation. So find gratitude. That's the second thing. We can't overestimate the importance of being thankful. That's what God asks us to do, is just thank Him. So find something to be thankful for in every situation and focus on that. And that can help you find a positive message in any negative situation. Now, gratitude helps people refocus on what they have instead of what they lack. And although it may feel contrived at first, this mental state grows stronger every time you use it and practice it. Now, the third point is you need to express a positive attitude. Training yourself to have a positive attitude is half of the equation. The other important part is being able to express it in positive words and positive actions. Finding a way to put a positive spin on things and saying it out loud can help the thought process move past the anxiety, the negative emotions, and help you become more aware of how much power you have to take control of the situations and to make choices that will point you in the direction of positivity. Now, don't let your positive attitude be dampened whenever circumstances change. Use your words and actions to help help your positive thinking. The fourth point, don't react to anything. Breathe. Instead of immediately acting in emotion and anger, pause for a moment. Take a deep breath. Exhale deeply and exhale slowly. Then take another and another, finding the calm and taking a moment of relaxation. This will help you get the needed perspective on the situation. Now, taking a deep breath is a positive action that can help you reassess and find a positive point of view in a tough situation. Plus, deep breathing helps relieve the physical stress your body and mind is feeling. Now, deep breathing also helps lower blood pressure, and it floods the muscles with oxygen, and it can release the tightness in your abdominal. So luckily, deep breathing is an action that you can take anywhere, anytime. And after a small moment of breathing, you might find yourself in a better place with a more positive outlook in the situation. Breathing also does more than reduce your stress and anxiety. It re-energizes your mental state. Studies have shown that breathing enables focus and productivity. It helps reduce the aches and pains, and it lowers your blood pressure. When you're feeling more productive, in less pain, and healthier overall, your state of mind naturally shifts into an improved mental state. By learning how to manage your breath, you can manage your emotional state and improve your overall health. Now, you'll not only be more productive, but able to think more clearly and work at a higher level. Remember, we have more control over our health and well-being than we may know. Nurturing your body is important, and taking care of your state of mind is too. Luckily, we know that our state of mind can be managed. Start incorporating the strategies above into your daily routines and see how your health, energy, and attitude can improve. Optimism is not an out-of-reach characteristic. By training your mind to pause and then put a positive spin on a tough situation, you can have a positive attitude through life. Thank you for joining me. God bless you. We'll see you next week.